It's most. Hello, everyone. I have a super extra special guest friend with me today, Crotalo Sesamo from Damanhur. I know it sounds like really, like presenting like a really high range from Damanhur. And it kind of is because Damanhur is a huge thing, which Crotalo will be telling us about in a bit. So before we get to that, welcome, Crotalo.
Welcome, and thank you, Issa, to invite me for this appointment. So it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be with a friend and another excellent researcher into the spiritual realm.
Well, which brings us actually to the main topic that we will be exploring today. Of course, we will be talking about Damanhur because it's very much related to this.
Of course.
So, just a little bit of background. Um, Crotalo is has been in this community for a while now, from the very beginning, from the very starters of the community, and now when we're talking about New Earth, I won't be describing the community itself because that's Crotalo's role. Yet it's one of the communities that I know that have remained, for years and harmonically. When we're talking about building, co-creating a new Earth, communities are critical, or part of it. So here we are, a lot of people talking about, new earth and building communities, but we have really like a, a slight idea of what it takes to make a community sustainable, to how does that look like, and the commitment that it involves. So one of the things that I love, and one of the things that I share a lot of resonance with Crotalo, is that bringing in the original teachings, which in this case are Atlantean teachings. I could even say Lemurian because I feel the vibe, of that Lemurian consciousness coming through Damanhur. So, can you share with us a little bit about that, Crotalo?
About Damanhur, about Atlantis, about everything.
About everything.
Well, about everything. But, well, Issa, we are living times of potentially big change, huge change, and everybody it seems to looking for a change, for a transformation. But in reality, very few people they have the idea of what a change could be, and how our society they can, let's say, change and transform from an idea of individuality that is very often the kind of approach of our Western society, instead of a more holistic approach, or let's say an approach that is the nature of every human being, that is the group, the community. So we are not designed to be alone. We are designed to be together, to be with others. The idea of being alone is just one of these programs that is being giving us for controlling us, to convincing us that life is going to be better, but in reality it's not true. Life is going to be limited, and life is going to be much more than in control of that society, of that civilization, of that country that are leading at the end, all of us, controlling us through a bunch of need, a bunch of elements that it looks we need so much, but they are bringing us to be very much detached to which are our dreams, our passions, what we really want to do. Or in our spirituality in Damanhur, we call it the mission that we have in every lifetime, the mission that is the reason why we are in this incarnation. So it's true that community seems to be one of these answers, but nobody really knows exactly what is a community. Because, community looks like, oh, okay, so it's the place where someone else is paying the bills at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Or community is, okay, so I can be creative, but please, when lunch and dinner are ready, call me. So we have this kind of, different kind of approach. But first of all, for us, communities are instrument to realize our dreams. And community, it's literally the passage between me to we, in the true sense of getting back that power, that unlimited possibilities that when we are together can really manifest whatever. And for us in Damanhur, just to frame a little bit, Damanhur has been born in 1975. I'm arriving in Damanhur when I was 18 in 1988, so it's almost 40 years that I'm living in Damanhur. I spent almost all my life. And to give you a little bit the idea of everything, so Damanhur is one of the oldest, if not at the moment the oldest, federational community that is existing in the world. And we base all our path to a spiritual mission, or again, to something that we all believe we have to achieve together. Because again, alone I can do a lot of things, but again, when we are together, there's no limit. And probably one of the practical example that demonstrate all of these is what we call the Temple of Humankind. That is the largest underground temple that is existing in the world. It's more than 9,000 square meters, completely carved by hands, and proudly still one of the builders, of the temple. By the way, we build it in secret, because imagine to go to the country, it says, oh, we would love to build 9,000 square meters underground with no architect, no engineer, just following the ancient sacred geometry, and that's it. Well, probably the country will say you are completely cuckoo. That is also true, because to live in community and to realize your dreams, you need to be a little bit cuckoo, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And day by day, bucklet after bucklet, we did it, and we were not more than 40 people at the end to really let's say dig underground, and no empty space. So we literally carve every single inch of the temple. But this is a perfect example or metaphor of the unlimited possibility of a group that is dedicated, that if it's completely focused in that goal, can really do whatever. And I also believe that in this moment, and not only in this moment, people need so much practical example. There's a lot of theory, a lot of beautiful, things, techniques, ideas, blah blah blah. But in reality, then fews are the example, the practical example that can show the way, or at least can show you that, come on, if we did it, you can do it much better wherever you are. People are looking for something true, not anymore, someone that is reading a book and then, is teaching about what he's been reading in the book. But people, teachers, guides, that they are really living what they're teaching. They are really embodies what is that practice. And when we talk about spirituality, when we talk about community, this is becoming even more important.
Yeah,
Knowing that community, it's sometimes such a vague concept that it's easy then to get in trouble. Oh, I have a land, I'm perfect for a community. Great, but that probably is not enough.
exactly.
You need something more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It takes more than just a dream or a goal. It's all the foundations that will lead you to accomplish. And I think that one of the biggest foundations that will be holding a community together is sharing the same purpose. I mean, if you look at it this way, it's we come from a reality that we were being taught first to obey.
Mm-hmm.
So then there is that resentment. Are
Exactly.
you going to tell me what do I need to do?
Yes, I
And
have the truth, so please just
yeah,
listen to me and do what I'm saying to you.
exactly. Don't ask questions and do as said. So then moving forward from that stage of human evolution, you enter a space where you need to strengthen your inner circle and push away all those energies that were trying to suppress you. But the thing is that a lot of people get merged, get immersed in that perception, and then they forget it. So when someone sometimes come and say, "Hey, let's do this," there is a very thin line, yet very deep in between. Hey, why are you trying to tell me what to do? And hey, I also want that. So let's move together, and then there is no resentment that you're trying to suppress me. It's like doing your shadow work and getting rid of those programs because, like you said something that you moved from I to we.
From
And
me to we.
that's unity consciousness. That is unity consciousness. And there it, like as you said as well, it's easy to say, yeah, sure, we're aiming to the same point, but throughout the process, that's very different. What would you say, now bringing in the ancient teachings, what would you say that are, let's say, five or three of the most important pillars or keynotes of how to keep the heart open without thinking that you are being suppressed or that you're losing yourself within mission that it's not yours, so that you keep focused and knowing that there is a higher truth, a higher faith, destiny that as a unity you can achieve, and that isolated or as an individual you won't be able to achieve? What would be those pillars or those keynotes?
But first of all, I believe that communities are not places where you go to take. First of all, you have to understand that create community, it means that you are bringing the best of yourself. First of all, people, they are always looking for someone or something that is going to support whatever is their idea of life. And that's beautiful, but very often is just the reproduction of not taking responsibility in life, like when we were a child. So we have mommy and daddy. So whatever was happening, no worries, because they are going to, provide whatever is needed. This idea of mommy and daddy and these, let's say, avoiding to do our responsibility, it's something that often is also a characteristic of our society. So even in spirituality, you're looking for a guru, with all the respect to the figure of the guru, just to give up the idea of your responsibility in life.
Exactly.
So guru, tell me how I have to dress, who I have to marry, which kind of job, what kind of food, and etc. Because then, if it's not gonna work, it's not my fault. It's guru fault.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and we see this repeating very often. So, living in community or creating a community means to not only taking your responsibility, but to taking the responsibility of everything, because you are the community. The community is not someone else. It's like, these people in a coffee bar that in the morning they're starting to blame about the government, about, the president, about, the prime minister, and blah, blah, blah. And at the end, they are blaming about themselves, because who has been electing them? Of course, maybe you didn't vote, but are you part of that society? Are you part of that environment? So it means that it's also your fault if it's not working. But this is a mentality that people don't have because they're not used. So living community, so I have to carry on, not only about my part, but about everything. So I'm there to bring the best. I'm not there to be a parasite that is just in need and etc. It could be tough, but it's the only way. The second element that is, and this is for me profoundly spiritual, living together, it can finally give you that kind of mirror effect. What I'm trying to say is that often when we are in our spiritual path, or when we do research, spiritually speaking, it's hard to have a balanced evaluation of ourselves. Because I'm the best, because I'm almost enlightened, because I am a high spirit, I've been, such a great master, I'm so perfect, fantastic, amazing. Maybe. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. I mean, if the others are going to tell me that, fine. Otherwise, I might believe that I'm so advanced, and the others, they just feel that I'm an asshole, with all the permission to use this word. So it's hard sometimes to have that evaluation. Now, when you live in community and you live, when you're strong, when you're weak, when you want to be with everyone, when you don't want to be with anyone, when you are your best, when you are just shit, in that moment, and for us it's very funny to see this with the new people that are entering the community. So first 3 months is like, everything is perfect because you want to be, and then you know how it works. So you're waiting to see, after a little while, what is going to come out. Why? Because when you are with others, in a way, you're naked. You're finally naked, but not naked physically. And it's not that here we are all naked and we're jumping.
You guys, just to clarify,
just to clarify, but you are spiritually, emotionally naked or raw. Let's say like this. So there are these beautiful part of you, but they are also merging the part of you in which you need to work. Because straight to the point, when we talk about changing and transformation, it is not about the part of you that are already good. You need to work in the part that are not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Your fears, your ego, your limitation, your fixed thoughts, and all these beautiful things that we all have in a very interesting variety of humanity. So the group and the others, they are becoming that kind of mirroring, facing me, the part of me that they need that attention. And often we always recognize the fact that what I don't like of a person, what I really cannot stand it, is very often that part of myself. So I'm mirroring that part in the person that I cannot stand it.
Hmm.
So when you're starting to play the same game, so, and this is very important, the fact that there is the same aim, the same goal, the same principle between the people of the same group or of the same community, and the aim is to work on yourself and to change and to transform. Well, living in community is becoming an enormous accelerator, because you are not just, we used to say that a day in Damanhur is like a week outside.
This is what I was going to tell you.
In the true sense that there are so much acceleration and so many more occasions to work with you, to work with the others, to work to the practical aspect of life, because here we talk about very essential elements of life. Because often on the, you know, big concept ideas we all agree, and then to who didn't clean the bathroom, everything failed. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah, and just to interrupt there a little bit, well, to jump in, what you're describing, it gives away to me, like if you're in a relationship, in a like with multiple people at once, when you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then you say, wow, like you evolve way faster when you're with someone, and then if you continue, and if not, that's when you see everything that you have grown through that relationship. So I think somehow is this way, it's a continuous relationship that it's so intimate to you, that I think that one of the biggest fears that humanity has is feeling vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That which you were describing, people to truly see you,
Mm-hmm.
like the movie Avatar, I see you. So
No, and it is pretty true, but because we are not used, the fear, it's coming from something unknown. And
exactly.
it's unknown and rare in our Western society. I'm still using this example just to better understand. To be raw, to be open, to be, in a way, yes, as you said, vulnerable, transparent, yourself. I would say yourself, because, all our society is bringing attention where? On the surface.
Yeah.
How we dress, which kind of car we're driving, which kind of perfume are you using, shampoo, which kind of phone. So all our society are creating constantly new need. So to be valuable, I need to have that phone, I need to have that car, I need to have that dress, I need to have a lot of money to do what, who knows, but I need a lot of money. So everything is moved outside. In a community or in a spiritual environment, the outside is very relative, because you go to who you are inside, your essence, your characteristic, your emotions, your feelings. That is exactly what a spiritual research should do. Any kind of spiritual research, if it's right, is going to bring you first to look inside of yourself,
Absolutely.
deep down, to find your values, to find your significance, to find your passion, your dreams, because these are your truth, whatever they are, not the truth that they've been sold to you or imposed to you by a religion, by a culture, or by something that from outside is telling you what to do and what not to do because he or she knows and you don't know. No, I want to know. I wanted to find it inside of myself, and I wanted to risk to live my life according to my dreams, because then I'm gonna go probably close to my mission, the reason why I'm here, that very often is very, very nearby the things that we love to do, that I like to do, that it's make me happy and make me passionate about.
Now that you're saying all of this, it continuously is coming. Father and mother figure. Like when we talk about the government or, the system, it's related to the father. When it's related to the land, how you plant it, how you harvest it, how you nourish it, it's
Mhm.
related to the mother. But all of these type of the communities, from your experience, would you say, and even now connecting it with the ancient teachings, I think it's a huge way to transcend, or to, let's say, to transcend the shadow aspect of it and actually evolve into the next stage of relating with the mother and father figure within, because you forcefully need that to build a community. You need that trine figure, which one part is being that feminine energy, that masculine energy, and continuously creating as coherent as possible. So any daddy issues, mommy issues, like not allowing you to anyone to, criticize you, or they will come out. And
Oh, for sure, for sure. But and the point is, one more time, I call it the biggest sickness of this planet at this moment, and the sickness is called responsibility. People don't take really responsibility about their life, or more correctly, to what spiritually speaking is our last divine power. I'm talking about the free will, the power of our choices. We are at the end the choices that we made during our life. That's it. All the rest, but we are the action that we truly make during a lifetime. This is the only things that matter, because only through the choices, only through the use of free will, I can evolve or I can destroy.
absolutely,
I can be a better person, I can be wiser, I can be blah, 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 or not. It's only through my free will that I'm going to use this multiple opportunity in a lifetime that I call experiences to evolve, transforming the matter into energy, the matter into light, the concept of the enlightenment. And I'm doing it through my soul in my incarnation, through the multiple possible experiences that I can live during a lifetime. So this unconscious sense of responsibility connecting to our actions is the biggest sickness of the planet. So we are always, think that someone else is in charge, that is going to be the president, that is going to be, the responsible person, that is going to be, the someone else. And we again lose the sense that if something is happening is also my responsibility. What I did, or what I could do, or I can do to make the things different. And obviously, this is something created one more time by the big control system
yeah,
that all our society create first with the physical rules, the law, okay, the system, the police, the judge, blah blah blah, the society system, and then even strongly with this other system that is called religions.
exactly,
Then I'm gonna give you the law, but they are even more strong because it's from inside that are going to control you. Because then you're gonna feel wrong, you're gonna feel guilty, you're gonna feel not enough, you're gonna feel that you have to suffer. So from these two systems, we are really squeezed, in which our actions, they're becoming very very little. But what I'm trying to say is that we can break, let's say, both of these systems. But to do that, we need to dive into a very spiritual process, and that's the reason why one of the goal of Damanhur is not to convert to a new truth that is the one of Damanhur. Nope, we're not here to convince anyone. But here we are to give practical example, instrument, teaching that they can help everyone to find their spiritual way, whatever it is. Because we believe that, again, I mentioned the terms mission very often. Well, the mission is always for something bigger, for the others.
yes,
not just for us, for ourselves. So
Exactly.
something that is definitely much more easily defined with the term spirituality than in many other forms.
Yes. There is something that, again, now that you were saying that, it came to me as, and I always say this as well, that humanity as a collective is facing like a teenager
Mhm,
stage,
mhm, mhm,
that is rebellious, but not offering, like resolutions. And
mhm,
even more, it's not therefore it's not taking full responsibility. It's just blaming and pushing and pushing. So I do believe that in order to make this community sustainable, we need to reach a maturity stage, like young adult, like having all of them, because it's not like you can neglect your
mhm,
wholeness.
mhm.
Each part helps you, but as a collective, start being more mature about ourselves, because again, this system has been continuously creating an atmosphere of, oh, don't worry, I will make the choices for you, and then you just need to go to work, make money,
Pay the
get
bills.
family, and you just need to do your homework. Be a good girl, be a good boy. This is why I was talking about the father and the mother, because it's
Mhm,
that overprotective father, and the mother has been put in like in an absent frame, like dismissed of the absent mother.
mhm,
But because it has been put away, like who teaches, well, now more, like nowadays a little bit more, but about ecology, about sustainability for the planet, creating your own fields, crops, and so forth. Now it's getting there. This is why there is more love towards the air, towards the mother. So I think, how would you say that, based on the community of Damanhur, you approach to the feminine and masculine energy? Because this is also a topic that has been very genderized, whereas it's not, because we all have feminine and masculine. So how do you approach, as a society, as a community, to that divine feminine and masculine?
But again, as you said very well, the goal is to create, if you can say, the androgynous again. That is actually from where the origin of what we call human is started. Be divided between male and female has been, in a way, a defeat in this kind of, let's say, battle or war that the humankind is doing, against forces that are obviously much more enemy than friendly. In community, the sense of the union is the group. The same concept of community is overcoming the gender or the characteristic of the gender, including also people that, for example, are gay or lesbian or whatever. Uh, in Damanhur, there's no differences between male and female. To tell you the truth, we've been encouraged a lot the female leadership, for example, because sometimes they are much better. Just straight to the point. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I mean, I'm not giving up my responsibility if I have to be, in charge of something. But
Of course.
I can admit that definitely female leaders are excellent in their let's say actions and everything.
Yeah.
So we don't make any difference. We actually support and actually try really to create leadership, because we believe in leadership from the both gender in this case. Even regarding our children, so kids that are born inside of the community, obviously from couples, uh, there's also this idea in which we are all taking care of them. Like, we have our internal school, and this is a community project. And as every project, like the temple, like the schools and others, at the end, practically it means that every month you contribute, you pay to have, your internal schooling, etc. What I'm trying to tell you is that for us, the children are the children of the community. So everyone is in charge of them, or financially, because you pay the money for their studying, university and everything, but also in terms of their education. Now, don't misunderstand me. The parents are always, the major reference point. But in a way, they grow up in an environment full of ankles. You know what I'm talking? In which everyone in the family is truly taking care of them. And this is overcoming, if you want, the idea of daddy and mommy. Or there is daddy and mommy, but I know that I have something that is much bigger than mommy and daddy, that in any case is going to be there for me, is going to guide me, is going to help me, is going to train me, is going to give me, again, example, instead of having only the two reference of the mother and the father. So I still don't have any children, but at the same time, I'm the ankle of all our children for a long time.
This is huge. This is huge because from every story that you have shared with me about Damanhur, I think this is one of the ones that has touched my heart the most, because we talk about without kids there is no future, bottom line. So stepping up into that space of absolute love, source love, that you are holding the space because you know that those seeds are the ones that are going to continue.
To continue, yes, of course.
Or the mission.
Yes, and can I tell you one more thing about our kids? We consider our kids, I'm strong to say that, guests. You know why? For the simple fact that, we can give them whatever, we can, train them, we can give them an education that is impossible to receive outside. We can give them a perfect environment with no crime, with no drugs, because in Damanhur we don't even smoke. So imagine, where people are talking with the plants, where people are doing astral traveling, where people are doing, yoga techniques every day, where people are researching, in the ancient history of the humankind, that is not the one that is telling you that the slaves are the one that they built the pyramid in Egypt, etc., etc., etc. But at the end, everything we're doing in Damanhur is based on our choice, the free will. So also our kids, when they're going to be mature, so they have to choose or not, if to become Damanhurians, is to live in this place or not, or do something else. So that's the reason why we consider them guests.
What do you think, based on your experience, that is the thing that like Damanhurians from the very beginning, in this case kids, the way that it's harder for them to let go of as they are growing, within their ego and so forth, like what type of behavior, and how different it is from the Damanhurians that were, received once they had already their own programs, like polished, and now then they had to release them, to let them go.
So you're asking me which could be the difference between the
Yeah,
Damanhur kids and the kids?
Exactly.
Well, it's obviously there are different kind of perspective. One of the common element is that our kids are really innocent souls. Sometimes a little bit too much, and that's also the reason why I am one of the ankles that when they have, majority age, I'm pushing them to go, not to stay. I say, go, live your life, go, travel, do as many things you can. Why? Because when you eat well every day, it's hard to define what is good and what is bad at the table. You know what I mean? So you need to try every kind of food to then, that one was pretty good. You know what I'm talking? So when you are in such a beautiful, protected, clean, energetically, not only environment, you go out and it could be a shock. Or you might approach with the same openness and open heart as they learn here outside, but it's not equal. They are not playing the same game. They play another game and they could be really tough.
Yes.
So I would say that this characteristic is extremely well appreciated by the teacher when our kids they go, to follow the rest of their, student career in other schools outside of Damanhur. So the teachers they appreciate a lot. Sometimes for our kids it's a little bit tough because the jump is it's intense. You know what I'm talking?
Yes. Yes.
In
Absolutely.
other hands, growing up, there's also one of our kids today is in charge of the entire community, of the entire Federation of Damanhur, just to let you know.
Wow.
And also to let you know how open our leadership is. So it is not about the age, it's not about, how long, it's about how much you care and you're good to care about the others and, the biggest responsibility. So our kids are gems. There are diamonds spreads in around,
Yeah.
but as everyone, in a way, you have to cut your diamonds. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking? So you need, in any case, to learn how to let this part of you to shine.
Absolutely. And I see all those diamonds spread all over the earth, actually building up communities, creating their own, like their own communities with the same foundations. Of course, not all of them, but most of them, because they're ambassadors, not of how I see it, not of Damanhur itself, yet from the essence of what Damanhur is in
Absolutely.
essence,
No,
so
no, absolutely. And in any case, I like to see them as citizen of the world. So people capable to bring wherever they're gonna decide to live the principle or the healthy principle of a social life that again is not just based on ego or an appearance or to impose yourself through physical external aspect, but something that is much more connected to brotherhood, gentleness, attention toward the others, help, um, and many of the elements that obviously are the base of our community.
okay, so I know that you have had a long day, so I don't want to keep you too much. Well, I honestly do because like we are just, like in the intro, but we will definitely have more shows. So, but before that, I just want to touch upon two topics, briefly, if we may, of course,
Of course.
which is the first one would be okay. So now you talk about Atlantean temples,
Mhm.
and all these fantastic spaces that were designed based on the geometry and the frequency of the land and so forth, the electric current of the land and so forth. So now it's important for people to know that all these temples have nothing to do with religious beliefs. It's more of an spiritual. So what would you say about that? Like for the people that haven't heard Damanhur.
But I mean, first of all, our spirituality it is not based on religion because religions are dogmatic. So the dogma it's the end. Like God says, the prophet says is like this, end of the story. So no matter what, all the religion they have a limit in their spirituality. A spiritual research, an esoteric path, a mystery school, an initiated uh, path again is something that consider the mystery only as a step. And through and thanks to the knowledge, I can overcome the step. I can, go beyond the mystery. So Damanhur is a mystery school, is an esoteric path that is recalling the same knowledge that is being the same all over the planet and all over the time. There might be used different terms to express this knowledge. Terms adapt to the moment of time, the civilization, the place, the culture, and etc. But in reality, there's nothing to discover. There's only to rediscover or to remember.
Exactly.
We knew and then we forget, because this is the game of this damn process of reincarnation. I'm coming here and I was like, oh, who I am, from where I'm coming from, what the heck I'm doing here. So I have to spiritually reawake. So the temple that is called the temple of humankind is, first of all, because it's not connected to any religion, but of the humankind in the most large sense of what is human. That for us is not a body with 2 legs, 2 arms, and 1 head. No, human is the soul, and the human soul can inhabit the body, adapt to that environment, to do that experience, that are the only way to get the enlightenment. So much more than only this physical body.
Of course.
That's the reason why the temple is the perfect metaphor, or the perfect path in which whole after all you enter in something that is really connected not only to the history of the humankind of this planet, but goes beyond this planet. Now, you mentioned Atlantis. Straight to the point, we consider ourselves in a sort of way the let's say one of the first returning of Atlantis in this time. Well, I can obviously talk much more and making the things even more complex or excited. So
yeah, that's
one of the mission of Damanhur that we believe is the reason why we're here, is to create a new timeline, a new future. Like to imagine that there is a timeline that, oops, it's not going to go well, or it's going to go very bad. So we need to create a new timeline that can overcome this not very nice hand. From all of this is coming from that civilization that is still existing, because we have an idea again of time as a sphere in which everything is happening contemporarily all together.
Yes.
So in that sphere, in that specific point, there is still Atlantis. And for a long time, maybe Atlantis will not appear. And who knows, maybe we are going to be the re-beginning of what we've been calling Atlantis. Now, I don't want to be presumptuous about everything, but when you're going to come to visit Damanhur, when you're going to be in the temple, when you're going to feel the symbols, the sign, the sacred languages, the corners, the geometry, and everything, because the temple is talking about everything. Yeah. Everything is there with a meaning. Everything is there to modify the energy that we believe in this place are powerful, because there are 4 of the energy lines of the planet, what we call the synchronic lines, crossing together. So when you're going to be there, you're going to see something very ancient, at the same time also something that looks a piece of the future. And the magic is that this is not about something that doesn't exist anymore, a civilization that is already been gone. Go to Egypt, fantastic Egyptian, but the actual Egyptians are not Egyptians at all. Okay, so all these greatest civilizations, they're gone. So we see things done thousands of years ago, but the locals are nothing to compare with who built this. You are in the temple of Damanhur, and you are still with the builders. You're still talking with us. So it is something by people like you, not better, not worse, exactly like you, still alive, still working in the temple, still creating meanings through art. So it is something that is really connecting to the present, to the now. And
Now
this is something unique.
I agree. I mean, I haven't been there, but this is one of the reasons that you and I connected. For you guys, beautiful soul tribe that don't know, Crotalo saw my codes through a friend in common, and he immediately said, like, "Oh, this codes remember me of the temple of the one of the chambers in the temple, one of the rooms." So it's like we when I say temples and I detach it from a religious idea, then we say, how weird, temples, for someone that perhaps hasn't experienced Egypt, perhaps. But for the ones that we have, and it doesn't firstly have to be Egypt, but there is something about Egypt that everyone goes, even if they are atheist, or they don't believe in anything, or they believe in whatever. There is something about the temples that if you don't want to look at them from the spiritual from a spiritual approach, is okay, but everything is connected, we know. Yet if you just want to look at that from a technological approach, this where activation centers. This is why they are so important, to have these places in the community, activation centers, which leads me to the second and last question for now, which is technology. If we're talking about Atlanteans and the way that you have approached, this is why I was also mentioning Lemurian, because there is a lot of heart in the teaching, and it's not like in the Atlantean times there was no heart. Of course, there was a lot, but I'm talking if we want to put it in a way where we are taking into consideration all or most or the most important and ancient civilizations, which in this case Lemuria and Atlantis. Of course, there were more, but just to simplify it. So now with this technological aspect of the communities, it's super important because even if you want to call it the science of the spirit, the science of consciousness, of ether, of plasma, and how it truly upgrades you. Because now, again, I know that the temples where you built them, they are placed in very specific nodes where the electric current of the earth, or the electromagnetic, mostly, field of the earth is a huge vortex. Those type of vortexes that a lot of people, spiritual people, or in this path of awareness, look for, because they are pivotal points to generate huge transcendence in the consciousness, huge awareness. It's the motion that it's required for you to keep on bumping that consciousness system, or that system of awareness. That and the paintings, because also someone commented on your paintings behind that, such a beautiful art. So I won't speak. I don't like
Well,
about
the border between knowledge and technology, it's very thin, as the same border between magic and science. And how many things we use, like these things, 20 years ago, this was pure magic. We can communicate without any cable. We can see each other by distance. We can do, I mean, it's magic, pure magic. Now it's absolutely normal. So again, for me, spiritually speaking, is very important to remember that the technology that we are achieving is a possibility to create evolution, a possibility, not a guarantee. So it's true that a society could be evolved according to the technology that is developing, straight to the point. And this technology, at the same time, doesn't bring us to be more intelligent or more evolved.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to express more evolution or an opportunity to express more stupidity, because I can have this scrolling all day and be completely annihilated about life, or I can use this and be in contact with millions of people and inspire them and give them, strength, ideas, and etc. I'm just doing the first example, but what makes the difference are still the humans and the choices of the humans, the free will of the humans. So it's true that we are finally bringing back, and the next wave is going to be the AI that is going to change everything in every possible sense. So we are finally getting back some opportunity to accelerate our evolution, but it's a huge again, it's an opportunity, or it's going to be something else. Are we going to use it to create, or we are going to destroy? Are we going to protect it, or we're going just to do it against someone else? So, and this is the use of the free will, and the fact that the only way is to work and to support the awareness and consciousness of people. That's the only thing. That is what we're trying to do also with this talk. So trying to inspire people to use this power, this potential, this technology in the best way possible. The awareness, it is fundamental, because otherwise, unfortunately, the example that we have in the past are not very well. So often when someone was with the power, it was using it against others. And unfortunately, even today, we have pretty much a lot of examples.
Actually, that's one of the biggest correlations to Atlantis. Technology overuse, overdose, bam, cataclysm, bye, reset. Okay, so, but the thing is that I do feel, as you were saying, there is a form of approaching to that where the heart is the axis. You never forget what is the purpose of the technology and stick to that, you know. And I believe that unified consciousness or unity consciousness plays a fundamental, a critical role in this, because I can see it as, like a neuronal pathway that was deactivated and that we need to restore so that it comes organic to us. It's like the network of like the pyramidal network that once was built, or the obelisks, or this or that, or the stone circles and so forth. For me, it's there to remember, hey, you need to build yourself, like to bring yourselves together as a network, and it's harmonically co-creating, not because you're just looking at what time the other one is going to do a move and then you move, like not doing like a very weird choreography, because you're doing it from the heart and you're moving in this harmony because your heart is unified. So I think that's something very important. What would you say is very important before we leave, and letting everyone know that you will be joining us at the retreat of the Way of Being Foundation? But I will
I can say to everyone, come to visit me, come to Damanhur, come to have your own experience, come to see with your eyes that, what we are telling you is not just, stories, but this is the reality that we're living every day. So come and join us.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're organizing a retreat as the Way of Being Foundation. The intro will be actually in the retreat at Sedona after the Rise of the Guardians from the 8th to the 10th. That Crotalo will also be there, and we'll be bringing, I don't know if part of the amazing technology of bracelets that they are thing. This is the other type of technology that I was talking about. But
You could, just like, tell me about the selfie cup, please. Damn it.
Okay.
Okay. We will do another. We will do
Yeah.
another live.
Next time I will sap it telepathically to you. Yeah.
It's late. My telepathy is getting a little bit lower.
Okay. Only for this time. But anyways,
Okay.
just kidding. So guys, if you we will be having another show for sure before the Rise of the Guardians and the Day of Being and the retreat return to being, where again Crotalo will be joining us and will be sharing with us teachings and wisdoms of how to build a community along with other type of ancient wisdom. Um, it will be a beautiful co-creation for sure that we will be doing there. And again, that's only the intro for the retreat that we will be organizing to visit Crotalo and there in Damanhur, doing our thing and getting the codes from there, and it's exciting. It's exciting. Crotalo, what is the website of Damanhur, or where can people access to know about or your videos in Gaia? Tell us a little bit where people can find you.
You can definitely visit the website of Damanhur. That is damanhur.org with the H between the N and the U. If you want to know a little bit more about me, you can go to crotalosesamo.com. As YssaH said, I also have 2 seasons that I record on Gaia TV about time travel, Atlantis. So I'm sure you're going to love it. So these, I would say, are the main things. Then there are plenty of different videos on YouTube and stuff, but I mean, these 3 things, I believe they're going to be already a good approach for you and for Damanhur.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, if you're interested in having more info about the retreat for now, you can just write here, Way of Being Foundation. .com.org. Okay, there you go. And yeah, well, you can come and visit us as well. And Sedona, Rise of the Guardians.
Come to Sedona.
Yeah, May the 8th to whenever you want to leave. But at least the retreat will be around the 12th, Day of Being. Conference Rise of the Guardians from the 8th to the 10th, then Day of Being 11th, and then the retreat on the 12th, and then who knows? Whatever you choose, remember.
Exactly.
Yeah. So having said this, join me guys at the Alien event on this weekend, in LA. Then I will be also presenting in new conferences that I haven't shared yet. But for now, I can also invite you to Star Knowledge in South Dakota. And yeah, I have a couple of surprises there that I will be sharing. Crotalo, buonanotte.
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 Buonanotte a tutte e grazie per l'invito. Alla prossima. Thank you for inviting me and for the next appointment together.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Cowboy. See you soon.